Greetings, fellow CarNut. Down here outside of Queenstown at Millbrook, just finishing up on the Subaru launch for the WRX 2.4 Turbo. So this is a car we've been waiting for some time now. It's finally here in New Zealand, and I'm just going to use this opportunity to take you a quick walk around, talk around the car, a little bit of the basic spec and pricing for the vehicles before I do a full review on the WRX 2.4 Turbo in an upcoming videos. So what we have with the new WRX is two body styles. We have a sedan, which we're all kind of familiar with, and we also have a new variant, which is the WRX wagon. It's a little bit narrower, a little bit longer, and a little bit taller than the sedan. The sedan itself is a little bit longer, a little bit wider, and a little bit lower than the previous model sedan. So dimensionally, yeah, things have grown up a bit in most instances, but slightly lower for the sedan in terms of overall height. Now, whether you buy a wagon or a sedan, you have the choice of two trim levels. There's the standard WRX, which is now called the Premium, and that is your entry level, I guess you'd say, to the range. And then there's an upper market one called the TS. Now you'll notice probably that this red badge here, it's a pink color because it's STI pink. And TS actually stands for tuned by STI. So when they say tuned by STI, what do they really mean? Well, not too much, to be fair. You get STI branded headrests, you get an STI branded speedo, and you get some STI branded tailpipe. But anyway, let's talk a bit more about pricing. Whether you go for sedan or wagon, you'll be paying for the Premium, which is the base model, or the entry model I should say, because it's not particularly base, it's very much well spec'd. The entry model sedan or the entry model wagon, both priced $59,990. And then you have the TS versions, which again are available in both sedan and wagon. They are an extra $5,000 at $64,990. Now, of course, both those prices will be impacted by New Zealand's new clean car discount. So the price that you end up paying, finally, after you've paid the government their share, will change depending on exactly when you buy these cars. The cars all come available with a 8-speed sport lineartronic transmission, which is Subaru's very advanced CVT transmission. And to be fair, you don't really notice that it's a CVT anymore. If you want the 3-pedal option, there is a 3-pedal manual available, and it's only available in the sedan body style. So it's the $59,990 car that is available as a manual. And that's a 6-speed manual, 3 pedals, lovely, lovely. Now, all WRXs now feature the 2.4 turbo engine. It's a 4-cylinder boxer engine, as we're familiar with, and it develops a little bit more power than the old 2-litre did. Power is now at 202 kilowatts, and peak torque is at 350 newton meters. It's a much stronger engine to drive, I've found. Definitely has more torque than the 2-litre did. The other thing I know some of you will be interested in, particularly if you are manual drivers, rev hang is now well and truly done with. Remember, you used to have those awkward gear change moments where the revs just wouldn't drop away once you came off the accelerator, and your incoming gear was met with a higher throttle than you really wanted. Well, that's now done and dusted, all in the past. This thing does not have rev hang. Now, inside the cars, there's quite a bit of change that's gone on in this new model. For a start, the biggest thing that takes your eyes, of course, is this new portrait-oriented touchscreen. So you've got your maps, you've got Apple CarPlay, you've got phone integration. All that stuff is done now through this lovely touchscreen here, which still has some practical buttons on the side for temperature controls, things like tuning, volume, all still available in analog form, which is nice. Nice little steering wheel, a little bit of carbon fibre trim down here. You've got a few less buttons on this particular wheel because, as I say, this is the Premium, so it doesn't have variable drive modes, which the TS vehicles do. Now, the TS vehicles have a button here, it says mode, and basically it changes you from a comfort mode to a sport chart, and then an individual settings mode where you can actually customize the vehicle in terms of its steering weight, the throttle response, the suspension settings, because the TSs have variable dampers too, electronically controlled dampers. The two cars have quite different tyre specifications that really go some way to explaining what the different brief of these cars are. So as we can see on this sedan, we've got a 245/40 R18 97Y. And on a wagon, if I can just find a wagon for us. Oh, here's one across here. Here's a TS wagon. Here we're dealing with a 225/45. So it's surprisingly a more economy-oriented tyre too, with lower rolling resistance. So as well as being higher in the profile and narrower, it's also geared more towards fuel economy. And I think it's actually quite an influence on the handling of the vehicle. Definitely found the sedan with its wider, lower profile tyres a more satisfying, sporty type drive. The wagon is also a very, very good car, but a little bit more difficult to get to grips with, to really get a lot of character from. Whereas the sedan, character's there in spades. The engine sounds good, you've still got a nice boxer beat, particularly in this manual version, you definitely experience the boxer beat. And yeah, the sedan would be my pick, but for people who want the practicality of a wagon, you're going to get a great car with the WRX wagon, but it's going to be a little bit of a diluted experience to what the WRX sedan driver is going to enjoy. Now that we know there's no more ICE STIs coming, the WRX manual particularly, is basically your most hardcore Subaru now. And it's great. Gearbox is nice, clutch is nice. As I say, losing that rev hang has made a huge difference to the car. It's much more drivable, much easier to spend time in and get familiar with. So yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with the WRXs and look forward to bringing you a more in-depth review of the WRX, possibly a sedan manual in the coming weeks. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.